The views and opinions expressed on any program are those of the producers and/or the persons appearing on the program and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of FRCmedia, Bristol Community College, or the City of Fall River.
This week in FRCmedia News, with the Route 79 construction project almost complete, the process to develop the land begins. Police are investigating a double homicide in Fall River, and District Attorney Tom Quinn reflects on his decision not to seek re-election. All this and more coming up. It's Thursday, February 5th, 2026. This is FRCmedia News. I'm Keith Tebow. The over 10-year plan to reconstruct Route 79 and Duval Street in Fall River is nearly complete. Now begins the process of deciding what should be built on the 19-plus acres of land freed up along the waterfront. The Massachusetts Department of Transportation held a meeting yesterday morning, opening up its request for information from residents, businesses, and interested developers on what they'd like to see on the site. The hope is to issue a request for proposals for developers to submit plans for the land later this spring.
Today's information session in the RFI are about demonstrating what has been done as part of the Route 79 corridor project to make these lots available, to gauge interest in what could come here, and find out from the market really what they see as what is the most viable uses for this land. And we expect to work closely with the city as this moves forward. And developers, as they put these lots together, will definitely be working with the city on entitlements and zoning to make sure that they're getting the building that they're hoping, and the city's getting what it needs as well. We're going to be reviewing the results of the RFI, likely meeting one-on-one with some developers that are interested in meeting to get a more candid perspective of that. And then putting that RFP together, and the hopes are May, maybe even as early as April, to get that out in the market. We're trying to get this moving as quick as possible. We want to see some success here and get some projects underway.
Mayor Paul Coogan says the meeting is the first step in gaining public input into the future of the waterfront.
Supposedly there was a few developers there that were interested in the parcel, and it was looking at what the long-term plans are going to be to develop that. There was one question from the audience about the height of the buildings. One question from the audience I heard about what was the percentage going to be for low or moderate income housing, and there were some good questions from the public, but it was really to see if we could get the interest of some people that may want to come in that have enough financial means to tackle a project that big. And that's what we're hoping for the city, and that's what we're hoping for jobs, and that's what we're hoping for tax revenue.
Last year, the Fall River Redevelopment Authority completed a master plan into what it sees as a viable plan with housing, commercial, hospitality, and open space opportunities. Even though MassDOT owns the land and plans to sell the parcels to developers, Mayor Coogan hopes the city can still be in line to play a bigger role in that decision.
We did have a meeting last week at the State House with the Lieutenant Governor and talking about exactly what that question was. We did not get a definitive answer yet. I mean, we're still hoping that the RDA has a key role to play in that development. Obviously, they've been a tremendous partner to the city of Fall River in a lot of developments, but it has not been officially settled yet. The plan they were showing, the developmental plan for the parcel, was actually done by the RDA. So the RDA has a key part in all of this, and going forward, we'll see how it ends up.
MassDOT is hopeful that it can begin negotiating with prospective developers on the site by later this summer. Fall River Police and the Bristol County District Attorney's Office are continuing their investigation into a double homicide in Fall River last Friday night. Police were called to a home at 431 Barnes Street where they found 25-year-old Nicholas Almeida and his mother, 54-year-old Elizabeth Almeida, suffering from gunshot wounds. They were transported to the hospital and were later pronounced dead. 54-year-old Arlington Cole, who was in a relationship with Elizabeth Almeida, was at the scene when police arrived and arrested. This week he pled not guilty to 2 felony counts of murder and a misdemeanor count of possessing a firearm without a license.
In general terms, it appears to be a domestic incident in the sense that they were not strangers. The incident took place in the house. He was living with one of the victims, the son, Nathan Almeida, I believe, Nicholas Almeida. His mother was there, so they were obviously known to each other, so it wasn't like a strange incident involving strangers. So the matter's under investigation. It appears like there was some type of issue, although 2 people are dead, so we'll have to see where that goes, who were present. But just a terrible tragedy that impacts the community in a very negative way. But unfortunately, it's the human condition that we face on a daily basis throughout in our communities, throughout the country, that these things happen that seem senseless and are violent, but it's sadly the human condition. So we're going to prosecute the case. The next stage would be, the case is in the district court, eventually be presented to a grand jury, and if they indict him, it will be in the Superior Court and will be prosecuted.
Mr. Cole is being held without bail with another court appearance scheduled for next month. Last month, Bristol County District Attorney Tom Quinn announced he would not seek another term in office, ending an over 20-year career in the DA's office, 12 of which as the top prosecutor. We had a chance to speak with the DA this week about his decision and his thoughts on fighting crime in Bristol County. You announced that you're not seeking re-election to the District Attorney's office. What went into that decision?
Okay, it's a very difficult decision. I'm in my 12th year as District Attorney. I was under Sam Sutter, the first assistant, so I'm in my 20th year of being in a top position. Been reflecting on it probably sometime around the spring, late spring last year. I don't think there's any particular reason. There's nothing bad going on, but I feel like I've accomplished what I wanted to accomplish. There's significant demands on the job. It's a 24-hour-a-day job, which I have liked and enjoyed. My family has been a big part of that, and they have been very supportive. My wife, understands and has been very supportive. You get calls this weekend about the case you just referred to, and there are a lot of different things. But I decided, based on, again, a number of factors, it's time to move on. And, I'm walking away from the position, which, sometimes doesn't happen. But I think I feel sort of like a little bit of an inner calling, if you will, it's time to move on. And upon, consultation with family and some friends, I think everybody understands. And very tough decision, talking to the staff and whether people were surprised or not. I've tried to, the job's not been about me, it's been about serving the public as best I can, protecting the community, doing the best you can with the staff, and I've decided it's time to move on. So I don't have any particular plans. I'm not, at this point, so I hope to finish strong, and it'll have been 12 years as a district attorney, and as I said, 8 years as first assistant, and prior to that, I had 8.5 years as a prosecutor, so I just think the time is right for me to move on to another phase of my life.
What has changed over your time, even going back when you were just a prosecutor under Sam Sutter and the first assistant DA, now DA? What has changed in terms of the work that's done here? I mean, I'm sure some of it is the same, but has things changed, and have there been any, I guess, additional challenges in your years here that may frustrate you at times?
A lot of things can frustrate you. My goal is to push cases through the court system as fast as possible and as reasonable as possible, because you have victims and witnesses that are fragile at times, and the older a case gets, it can be difficult to prosecute. But yeah, I mean, I think things have changed. I think technology has changed the way cases are prosecuted. When I first started out, there was no technology. I mean, it was witness testimony. Now, video surveillance, DNA obviously, but video surveillance, and then the phones and data location have all changed the dynamics of these cases. Which means you have to invest in technology and people have to be versed in it. The atmosphere has changed somewhat. I think, I guess it's going back a period of time. I think there seems to be more hostility towards law enforcement. More people are questioning the system. You hear with the Karen Reed trial, people in general terms, you say the system's corrupt, and this is, I'm not saying they're all saying it, but I'm not corrupt, and I've tried to, prosecute the matters in a fair and just way. There obviously can be disagreements, but it's a nastier arena now in general with things, and I think with the technology available to people can just blog in and make comments that are unsubstantiated in general. But I think there have been fewer arrests the last 5 or 6 years, fewer cases brought. That's not changed things, but that's a factor of a number of things. You had the legalization of marijuana years ago. I think that's resulted in fewer charges being brought. I think there's hesitancy on part of the police for, maybe engaging in stops that they used to, because there can be the finger being pointed at them. Obviously, the police have to act appropriately, but I think there's unfounded attacks on them. I also find the jury pools are a little different. I think their demands, maybe focused on more clearer proof than they used to be. Like, they're grown up in a world of technology. So I think people are looking for that. Where is the evidence? Where in the past, there were convictions based on testimony that did not involve technology. So that is a challenge, I think.
What have you seen from the judiciary? I mean, obviously your office works very closely with the court system. There has been, depending on the cases, and I'm going to specifically, point out one, the attack on former Mayor Will Flanagan. That individual has demonstrated mental health issues. There's been some, questioning of the court system in terms of whether that individual should have even been out because of other cases he was involved with. Has it been more difficult to try to work with the judges and the clerks in terms of getting things done that you may see in the office as a potential threat, similar to what that individual with former Mayor Flanagan?
Well, that's a pending case and a very serious case. I mean, the problem, you're dealing with several issues. I've been around a long time. I know who should be on the street, so to speak, and who shouldn't be. The mental health system in dealing with criminal defendants is woefully lacking. I think it's something that needs to be addressed. People are constantly saying it's a mental health issue, all the mental health problems, but I don't know what's really been done to address them. It's not an easy solution. But whether somebody should be in custody or not for mental health is really determined by court clinicians, the court making a finding. So it's really a case-by-case basis. There are a number of factors that go into different things. Yes, is there truly a mental health issue? There's a difference between saying a person, to use this term, is crazy. People say, oh, he's crazy. But legally crazy is different. There's a case going on right now up, in the courthouse that is a mental health defense. Police officer was almost murdered in Taunton. But the general public saying, this guy's crazy, but then there has to be a court finding of that, whether the person is not competent or fit to stand trial, and or if they are, are they responsible for their conduct? Most people, the vast majority of people, are legally responsible for their conduct, even though there's some bizarre aspects to it. So I think at times, are the judges an obstacle to that? I don't know. The judges, have a lot of things to consider. They're a neutral party, but I think at times people are clearly not sentenced appropriately and put back out on the street that don't belong there based on their record and their conduct. But that's something that's gone on for a long time. That's something I've tried to fight against because protection of the public from these individuals has been a top priority of mine.
Yeah. Let me ask you, I know there's still, about a year until you actually leave the office, but have you had an opportunity to look at your career and some of the things you've been particularly proud of over your 12 years here as DA, and what would those be? Well, I was reminiscing the last month or so because I'm not running and my career as I know it will be over at the end of the year, so that is sobering on a number of fronts. I think what I'm, to look back and say I'm proud of this, proud of that, I mean, we've had some high, as district attorney, and then I was, the first assistant, but had some high profile convictions, the Aaron Hernandez case, the Michelle Carter case, and other maybe less noteworthy cases, but significant nonetheless. There was a cult prosecution of individuals who were raping victim, and other homicides and other serious cases. So I actually, in the Aaron Hernandez case, after he committed suicide, I argued the case. The case was dismissed, and I went to the Supreme Judicial Court and argued that they should change the law because it made no sense, and they did. Somebody said to me, "What are you doing that for?" Well, because that's what should be done. This does not make any sense. All the effort that went into it, prosecution, appeal, and they're just going to say, "Oh, he died," so we dismissed the whole process like it never happened. But I think really the day-to-day prosecution of cases, trying to be fair, trying to make sure appropriate sentences are meted out, at least from our perspective, and trying to view each case as it comes. I mean, I had other cases when I was not the DA. I mean, I prosecuted 2 school murders over 30 years ago. Those are significant cases. But I think overall, day to day, trying to be fair to people, that each case has to be viewed on its own merits, and try to be open-minded to what ought to happen. People come to you with various issues or factors in a case they want you to consider. Any letter sent to me, I've always looked at it and tried to view each case on its own basis, because everybody's entitled to a fair shake for the system to work. Even though you're not running, and we still don't know, who's going to be running for a Democrat or a Republican, do you think you're going to endorse potentially someone, maybe the Democrat, whoever the nominee is? Yeah. I would say most likely. I mean, a former employee of mine, Seth Akins, says he's running. Chris Markey has announced he's running, the state representative from Dartmouth. I don't know if anybody else is going to get in. So they have to get 1,000 signatures. The papers come out the next week or 2. That's my understanding. So I'll address that at a later time. I would just say this is a very important position. You need someone with integrity, with hopefully appropriate judgment, who is trying to do the right thing in terms of the role of DA, seeing that justice is done, holding people accountable, reacting to the evidence. So you need someone who is trying to get the job for the right reasons. If you don't, it'll be a disaster. Let me ask you, I know you touched upon this a little bit. This will be the final question. Have you thought about what's next at all? You said you didn't, but I mean, is there what you'd like to do next? I mean, I've thought about it. A few people said to me, "What are you going to do? What are you going to do? You got to do something. I mean, what are you going to do? What are you going to do?" Well, I don't have any plans now. I want to finish the term out. I might, there were different things I would like to do. I'd like to read more. People say I'll volunteer. I think I might want to see if there's an area to volunteer in. I think having the ability to do things without time constraints, make sure I walk every day, visit with people that I can't do in the job. As I said, maybe help out in the community. And nothing grandiose. People will say, "I'm going to volunteer."
giving back to the community. People say, I want to give it. Service is important. That's how I view the job. You know, I'm serving the community, and I've tried to do that. I mean, we're all not perfect, so I think that would be part of it. And I've reflected on the decision for a number of months. Family is behind me. A few people, which is good, said, gee, why are you leaving? Wish you were staying, which is gratifying. But, I think when I explain to them, I'm walking away on my own terms. The job that I did will be left for other people, but people have been very positive because I'm not in it for the next move, and that's fine if that's your calling, but my calling was, and I'll end it on this. 11 years ago, Sam Sutter ran in a special election and became the mayor. The position was vacant. Never happened before. Governor Patrick was on his way out. Governor Baker was coming in, so it was a significant, unique event. And through the support of the community, the office, and my family, both governors appointed me, and I'd be forever grateful for that. So that's how I came in, a little different. So I'm going out on my own terms, and again, hopefully, with gratitude to the people I've worked with. This is a tough job. I've loved the job, but it's not an easy job. You got a lot of different things you're competing with, and these people have helped make that job easier for me, and I think it's been impactful. The senior citizens, I made a priority protecting them. They deserve that. Other initiatives, you mentioned, cold cases we focused on. We put resources, the rape kit initiative, I think you're familiar with that, to test all these rape kits that weren't. The victims have a right to have that done, and many other things, but that's a joint effort. I've been about doing the job, not about the power to me, as I said. I always respected the power. I can make life difficult or easy for somebody. I've always tried to look at it straight down the line. I mean, some people might be upset with crimes, but in the end, if I say to you, you want a fair shake for you or your family member if you come into the criminal justice system, what are they going to say? No? I'm going to say yes. So that's the approach I've tried to take during my career.
We'll have more FRC Media News after this.
Here are some job descriptions on the latest hot jobs list from the Mass Hire Fall River Career Center. School nurse, Citizens for Citizens Head Start, located at 427 Robeson Street, is looking for a full-time school nurse to participate in the health screening and intake process for all children. Job number 237-52276. High school varsity co-ed track and field head coach, Argosy Charter School, located at 263 Hamlet Street, seeks a full-time high school varsity co-ed track and field head coach to lead all aspects of the program, such as coordinating practices and managing meets for both genders. Job number 237-56201. Full charge bookkeeper, Leiter, Fogarty, and Ribeiro PC, located at 101 Jeremiah V. Sullivan Drive, is seeking a full-time, full-charge bookkeeper, responsible for ensuring accurate bookkeeping and proper handling of client trust accounts. Job number 237-53613. Office Administrator, Steinhoff Dental, located at 4144 North Main Street, is urgently looking for a full-time office administrator. For more information, call 508-673-0077. St. Anne's Hospital, located at 795 Middle Street, has an immediate need for the following full and part-time positions. Patient Access Coordinator, job number 237-53828. Boiler Operator, job number 237-52274. For more information about these or other positions, visit Mass Hire JobQuest at jobquest.dcs.ol.mass.gov. or call the Mass Hire Fall River Career Center at 508-730-5000.
Welcome back. The City of Fall River this week officially welcomed 12 new members of its police department. The new officers recently completed 5 months of training at the Police Academy and now begin the process of learning departmental policies and procedures and field training before being assigned a patrol.
The Fall River Police Department is more than a police force. It is a tradition. It is a standard. It is a promise to the city. We are the community, and the community is the police. And that bond has been built through centuries of trust, respect, and teamwork. Inside our building, we stand shoulder to shoulder as one team. Rank, assignment, and title matters less than loyalty, trust, and having one another's backs. Outside those walls, that same teamwork extends to the community we serve. Together, that is what makes this department strong and the city safer. To the families here today, this moment belongs to you as well. Your sacrifice, your support, and your strength are the quiet force behind every officer standing before us. As a daughter, a wife, and a mother of police officers, I understand that sacrifice personally. This badge is worn by your loved one, but its weight is carried by all of you. This department honors that sacrifice, and we will always stand with you. Today, these officers don the uniform worn by heroes who came before you. Men and women who ran towards danger, upheld the law with integrity, and wore this uniform with pride. That legacy now rests on your shoulders. Carry it with honor. Serve with integrity, protect with courage. Be the officer you want at your family's door. Be the officer your partner wants beside them. Be the officer worthy of this uniform.
We'll wrap up this edition of FRC Media News after this.
My name is David Perry. I'm the president of the Greater Fall River Food Pantry. And what we do here is we provide food to clients that are in need. We're always trying to get more people involved in what we're doing. And we're trying to concentrate on youth, and it's all about helping people, and that's what we should all be doing, is helping someone. So it's a great opportunity for them to come down here and give us a couple of hours a week. It's not long, it's 2 hours a day. And once they start volunteering, it's like a family, it really is. So getting these younger people involved, it's just great. It's great to see, it's great to have younger generations seeing what's going on in the real world, as we call it, and helping out.
I've gotten a new outlook on the community. I've been able to see all sides, helped me learn just a lot about Fall River as a whole.
We like to get students in from 14 years of age and older. It's not about the Greater Fall River Community Food Pantry. It's about what the Greater Fall River Community Food Pantry does as an outreach. We want to reach out to the community. Most schools require that the students put in volunteer hours. We're a perfect example of receiving those students, and that way they get their hours accredited, and it gives them a good learning experience.
Volunteering here made you feel good, felt like you were helping out the community, and also it really helped me out with making my application stand out with having volunteer hours on them. Like when I'm applying for jobs, I've been on the hunt right now, and I've done a lot more interviews since I did charity work here. Makes you really stand out, and also just feels good helping out the community.
I love hearing other people's lives, how other people live, other people's families. It's interesting, and I really like to do this work.
Come down and see what it's like. Come down and take an opportunity to help someone else. Come and see what's really happening in the world out there.
That's all for this week's edition of FRC Media News. Please visit our website, frmedia.org, for more local news and information. FRC Media News airs Thursdays at 6 p.m. and Fridays at 5:30 p.m. on Channel 95 and the Fall River HD channel, which you can find on Channel 1072. For all of us here at FRC Media News, I'm Keith Tebow. Have a great weekend and go Patriots! We'll see you next Thursday.